How have medicine developments happened over time? What things have changed? What new discoveries have happened? And what is the difference between medicine 2000 years ago and now? In this video, we're going to be covering medical history and how things have changed over time. This is an idea that may come up in your interviews too, so it's just a good idea to make sure you understand some of the different developments that have happened and the big shifts and changes that have occurred over time and resulted in medicine in the way it is today. Hi, I'm Loveleen, a medical student at King's College London, here to help you with your interviews. Now, I completely understand how daunting and difficult interviews were, as I was in your position, but fast forward a couple of months, I went on to achieve all 4 of my offers with interview scores as high as 135 out of 140, and I'm here to help you do the same and achieve your dream of studying medicine. On my channel, I talk about all things relating to medicine, entrepreneurship and mindset. Now, to help you, I've also created loads of different resources. First up is my Aspiring Medics newsletter for completely free resources. On this, I post loads of different tips relating to the journey of getting into medicine, especially around during UCAT season and interview season, and what you can be doing to help you achieve your dream of studying medicine. Additionally, one of the key reasons that I was actually able to get all 4 of my offers was my interview document. This is an over 50-page document in which I've included all of the content that you need to know, ethical pillars, over 100 different types of questions, and also the NHS hot topics and research. If you're interested in this, make sure to check it out using the link below. Additionally, if you want more personalized support with helping you get your 4 out of 4 offers and studying medicine at your dream uni, then check out my interview course. Again, as part of this interview course, you get personalized, tailored learning given to you about all the content, learning how you should actually be structuring your interview responses, what your interviewers want from you when you're doing a med school interview, and the art of speaking and presentation, because this is so important in helping you secure your offers and get into medicine. Let's start off by taking a look at Hippocrates. Now, Hippocrates was a Greek physician, and he's most famously known for the Hippocratic Oath, which is often taken by medical students and doctors, as it takes into consideration the ideas of confidentiality and putting the patient's interests first, which are still really important ideas today. He's often credited as being the father of medicine, and he also is considered to be a pioneer in the idea of evidence-based medicine. This is because, contrary to the popular belief at the time, he believed that often disease was caused by environmental factors or lifestyle factors, and that he often used reasoning to come to conclusions. Moving on to medicine during the Roman times, at this time a lot of the doctors were actually Greek, and the most common theory that was believed in was the idea of the 4 humours. This theory said that there are essentially 4 fluids that make up the body: blood, phlegm, yellow bile and black bile. It was believed that if any one of these fluids was essentially in imbalance, so if there was too much of one or too less of another, this is what caused disease. During this time though, the importance of sanitation of water was understood, and a lot of the time water was sanitized before it was drank. Now let's take a look at how medicine changed since the Roman times up until the 1800s. Since the fall of the Roman Empire happened, was that the responsibility of healthcare essentially fell upon the church. Now, as this was the church's responsibility, often things like prayers and faith held a higher value over medical study, and it was believed this is how a lot of diseases could be cured instead. Unfortunately, during this time, a lot of doctors also weren't fully trained, or they didn't have enough knowledge, and therefore the procedures were often quite brutal and did more harm than actually did any good. One of these examples is during the plague, doctors actually became known as quacks because of the bill-shaped masks that they wore during the time. Another example is a procedure called bloodletting. Now, what bloodletting was is that typically if a patient had a headache or some sort of condition in which their head was hurting, bloodletting would essentially remove the bad blood or the dirty blood from their head. Now, as we know nowadays, this procedure wouldn't work and it's not correct, but it was what was believed at the time. But instead what ended up happening was patients often ended up more weaker. A lot of the treatments during this time too did actually end up causing more harm. Surgeries were often done by barbers, the idea of anaesthetic was not developed, and the idea of sanitation was also not developed, so oftentimes patients would die after surgeries or have infections. Since the 1800s, what happened is that there was a lot more scientific changes, and also the changes of the Industrial Revolution coincided with this. So medical students and doctors had a much more greater understanding into things like anatomy, chemistry, biochemistry within the body, and also microscopes were developed, so bacteria could actually be seen for the first time. All of these developments in science, plus the Industrial Revolution happening at the same time, led to change happening. This is because during the Industrial Revolution, there was a lot of unsanitation and crowdedness in cities, and as a result, this often led to lower life expectancies. So this, combined with more knowledge from science, led to a larger change where nowadays we've got improved understanding of sanitation, sanitation, making sure that patients are looked after, reducing infection rates in surgeries, and overall led to a lot more improvements and developments throughout the 20th and 21st century. Some key discoveries that happened during this time was Pasteur, who found that microorganisms can survive and you can kill them at high temperatures, and Edward Jenner's development of the smallpox vaccine. Now we know that medicine is actually based on anatomy and science and the idea of evidence-based medicine, which is using observations and reasoning to come to conclusions. Things like sanitation and the idea of a sterile field during surgery is so important now to reduce infection rates and to support patients. The human element, again, is so important within medicine nowadays, of being empathetic and working with patients, not against them, and having treatments which are actually beneficial to patients. Nowadays we've had developments in AI, we've also previously had so many developments such as in organ donation, in blood transfusion, and the development of imaging and x-rays. This just shows you how medicine is always constantly evolving. There are new things and so many changes have happened over so many years. I hope this video has helped you to get a really good idea and understanding of medical history and how things have changed over time and why the things that we have today are so important. Again, don't forget to check out the rest of my channel so you can learn all of the content for your interviews to help you achieve your dream of studying medicine.